Hello, everybody. If you could all take a seat, we want to go ahead and get started so we can start and move on to the reception part of this program. My name is Kelly Leger. I'm the Director of Member Outreach and Diversity at the Louisiana State Bar Association, and I'd like to welcome you all for coming. I want to thank you for coming, and I want to congratulate the students who are here to actually learn something, that you saw this as an important opportunity in your professional development, because we think it is, and that's why we have taken the time to plan it, and all these attorneys and judges have taken the time out of their schedules to come be with you tonight to help you in this part of your journey. I am here on behalf of the Louisiana State Bar Association. We are helping to put this program on with Proskauer Rose, LLC, the law firm. The New Orleans office here is helping to sponsor this. They've sponsored the reception that will immediately follow, and their attorneys are here to help contribute wisdom and insight into the wonderful world of networking for you. The other entity, as you know, that's sponsoring this event is the Loyola chapter of BALSA, the AP2 chapter of the Black Law Student Association at Loyola. I welcome you, and I will quickly turn this over to Judge Lamel so that he can introduce the judges. We are using his courtroom. We thank Judge Lamel for always letting us bombard his courtroom with our events. With no further ado.
Kelly's a former law clerk of mine, and she, as you could tell, she's got a big voice and it's hard to follow her. So if you're not hearing me, just let me know and I'll speak a little louder. Again, welcome. This is the second year in a row that we're doing this, I believe. And I thank the Louisiana State Bar Association, specifically Kelly's office, which handles diversity affairs and involvement for the Louisiana State Bar Association for doing this, along with Proskauer Rose, who I think you all did this for us as well last year. Because I remember Charles and Yolanda, and my new cousin-in-law, Mike Spencer, who had a cousin of mine a few months ago. I'm glad he's here. And I want to say to all of you that this is meant to be very informal. We don't have a program per se, and it's meant to be that way as if you're now at a reception. You know, you've had a CLE program, and now you're going to have a reception where you wine, dine, and drink, and everything else. But before getting into all of that, let me introduce some of my colleagues who are here. First of all, immediately in front of me is Judge Carl Barbier. Judge Barbier and I were, I think, the last two of President Clinton's appointees back in 1998. We're celebrating our 10th years. I'll be celebrating 25 next year because I've added on 13 years as a magistrate in this court. Thank you, Judge Barbier, for coming. Judge Duval, another Clinton appointee, and I don't know why we get into that habit of doing it, but I guess the paper does it, so you know, why not? Judge Duval came on board in President Clinton's first term, and he was here also last year for the same event. We welcome Judge Duval here for this one as well. We also have into the room our colleague, Magistrate Judge Karen Roby. Judge Roby is no stranger to, I think, most of you. She's done a lot of CLE programs, a lot of programs with law schools, not just local, but elsewhere. And we're glad to see Judge Roby here as well. I see in the back a distinguished judge who just retired from the Orleans Parish Criminal District Court, and he's a judge who is no shy fly. When he speaks, he speaks his mind, and usually 99.9% of the time he speaks it on behalf of people who don't have a voice in this community, and that's Judge Calvin Johnson. Judge Johnson, as you all know, is now heading up, I think, mental health issues for the area.
Metropolitan Human Services District, mental health, addiction disorders, developmental disabilities, and we're looking for young, talented people.
Well, I may volunteer as a patient because Judge Johnson, thank you for coming. If anyone knows anything about networking and psychic and social welfare issues, Judge Johnson. And sitting next to him too, Judge Michael Becknaris from the Orleans Parish Civil District Court. Judge Becknaris is one of those unique judges who I think has probably sat and worked in just about every branch of government, from the executive to the legislative to the judicial in some capacity. And he's a former chief judge, or you still chief judge of the court there? Former chief judge of the court. But even a higher distinction, I think, in terms of service to the community has been his role as a former chairman of the National Bar Association's Judicial Council. And in that capacity, he has really opened up the council to doing educational programs for students and lawyers. And I say that as a plug because he got me a free trip to Atlanta to do one for one, and I'm looking for another one right down the line.
By the way, you might want to announce Calvin's going to be the recipient of the
That's right, the St. Ives Award. Is that public yet?
Yes.
I don't know if they have.
Do you know?
It is now.
Email it.
I just announced St. Ives Award is one of the most distinguished awards that Loyola has there. Judge Duponcher of our court, I think, was a former recipient, and Judge Johnson deserves it well. We also have present two of my classmates from law school, Herman Bastian, who from Loyola, class of 1974 law school, and a good friend for years. And also, I call him a classmate. He was at the law school across the street from Loyola, Tulane. Wayne Lee from Stone Pickman. Thanks to both of you for coming. Without anything else to add, other than my thanks to everybody who I think I've already recognized, including Kelly Proskauer, the judges who are here, my assistant, Blaine McQuire, one of my law clerks who's here, Joanne Costa. Thanks everyone for working on this. So, Kelly, it's all yours. Or Charles.
Charles.
Sorry.
We will turn the program over to Charles Seaman. And because we want this to be informal, I will let Charles and whichever other attorneys or judges speak to tell us a little bit about himself or themselves when they stand up.
I neglected to do one thing. Recognize the BOSA president, Ms. Progre from Furboss from Loyola. She has a unique relationship with us. She's cousins to my assistant Flay. So, Crystal, thanks for coming and putting all this work on this stuff. Did I miss anybody? Some lawyers in the group that came in. I'm sorry. We've got several lawyers who came in here. We'll, if you want to introduce them now, Charles, or you want to do it later, or what?
Your Honor, it's your courtroom.
Well, the only thing that I wanted to do, because I know the judges here have some other things that they're attending, and I didn't know in terms of their time if they wanted to say anything now about networking. I wanted to wait a few more minutes or what? Carl, Dan, whatever. Mike, Calvin, did you want to say anything right now or you want to wait a while? This is very informal.
I'll wait a minute.
Mike,
I always follow
you defer to Calvin? I'll sit down.
Charles.